Welcome, baseball fans, to this edition of State of MLB. The American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series have concluded, so let's go ahead and do a bracket update, shall we? First, the National League Championship Series started first and ended first, only went 4 games as opposed to 6 games for the ALCS, and while I predicted it was going to go 6 games, I was wrong on that because I had given the Cardinals a lot more credit than apparently they deserved. The Washington Nationals take the 4-game sweep over the Cardinals. Welcome to the show. For the first time in the Washington Nationals' 50-year franchise history, including 39 years as Montreal Expos, 38 years, and 12 years as the Washington Nationals. The team finally, not only for the first time ever, wins in this postseason, their first postseason series, but they get to their very first National League pennant and their very first World Series appearance. Congratulations, Washington Nationals! You did it behind fundamental baseball. You had 4 high-quality starters between Anibal Sanchez, between Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin. You did it behind a wonderfully well played small ball. You had the ability to hit the home run, but you kept getting men on base. You kept exploiting the pitchers, making them work, getting guys on, bringing them in. You played fundamental, sound National League baseball, and you took care of business against the St. Louis Cardinals. Wonderful job. Congratulations. Well done. All the accolades are well-deserved and well-earned. Plus, you got to have a nice long layover while you watch the ALCS play out. Speaking of that, I had picked Houston in 7 games. Fundamentally, there were going to be games with which I thought were going to go in New York's favor that just didn't. And that's a credit to the wonderful pitching, the timely hitting, and the overall uses of the bullpen rotation by the Houston Astros to end the Yankees season in 6 games, not 4. So, I will go ahead and take my punches, eat my crow. They 4-game sweep. I was wrong here. That was in 6 games. That's fine. I was wrong. It's all good. Still pick the game winners. Yay! So now we have a returning World Series contender. For the second time in 3 years, the Houston Astros are in the big show. And for the first time ever, the Washington Nationals are in the big show. Fundamentally, regardless of any personal allegiance I might have to any given team, I'm going to look at this strictly objectively, and here are some pros and weaknesses of these teams. In the rotation of Justin Verlander, of Garrett Cole, of Peacock, of Greinke, you have a solid rotation of 4 very capable pitchers, 2 elite pitchers who can give you 7 innings of no-run shutout baseball in Verlander and Cole. Greinke, who's a highly competent pitcher, and Peacock, who can certainly do a decent job on the back end of the rotation. Against the Washington Nationals, who have, in no particular order, like I mentioned before, Anibal Sanchez, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin. Overall, while none of those pitchers might strike you as an elite caliber pitcher like Garrett Cole or like Justin Verlander, you've also got 4 pitchers who are in their own right top-tier pitchers. Guys who can give you 6-7 innings of 2 runs or less baseball, and with a lineup that, while they can hit home runs, specialize in small ball, specialize in pitch count, specialize in putting pressure on defenses and on pitchers, wearing pitchers down, working and finding holes in the defense. And you have also, on top of that, a bullpen that can certainly do its job well. Now, as far as bullpen is concerned, I would kind of put that as a wash between the Houston Astros and the Washington Nationals, because both of them have shown a great deal of competency to be able to get the job done. When it comes to rotation, while Houston might win a Verlander or Cole start, you've got, when those two are not pitching, you've got a rotation in Washington that can certainly go toe-to-toe with Verlander or Cole, but can also hold their own against Greinke, Peacock, or anybody else you want to throw in there in a starting rotation. Which brings it back to, okay, Houston has a wonderfully deep, powerful lineup. In Game 6, when you had your top 4 hitters, Springer, Altuve, Bregman, and Brantley in the top of the 9th, it was going to take a ton of luck and solid pitching to navigate that lineup. Guess what, Washington? Now you have to deal with that in a best-of-7 series, and they ain't going anywhere. And that's just the top 4 guys. The rest of that lineup are no slouches either. They can hit with the best of them. So while I say that Washington can hit the long ball, but is very good at the small ball, on the reverse side, you've got a Washington Astros team that can certainly do the small ball approach, can get guys on and can bring them home, but their specialty is the long ball. They have a lot of power, and they hit a lot of home runs, and they certainly have the ability to wait out the pitcher for the pitch they want and knock it out of the ballpark. 3-run shot in the first inning of the ALCS Game 6. 2-run shot in the 9th inning. So it was a 2-run shot in the first inning. It was a 3-run shot because they scored 1 later, and they got 2 more in the 9th, so for 6-4 score. So they have a lot of power, and it would take a lot of, but you can also navigate that, because fundamentally, if they were all power and you couldn't stop their lineup, they would be ringing up 12, 15 runs with all a long ball. But they're not. You can get them out. They can be controlled, and to a number of innings between your Tampa Bay Rays and your New York Yankees, there were plenty of at-bats where your power hitters weren't getting the job done. At the same time, you have to look out for those big innings, because Houston is absolutely notorious for it. They will break the game open, and every single at-bat is an opportunity for them to blow the game open. So they are a very dangerous team. In this case, I do not see Washington having nearly as much ease or control of the game against Houston as they had against St. Louis. I am going to go ahead and pick a 6-game set. And that is on the principle of the fact that, yes, you're going to have Cole in Game 1, but you don't know who you're going to have the rest of the series. And I would put a Washington starter against anybody in the Astros lineup. They are deep, they are good, and they can get the job done. I do see the Cole taking Game 1 because he's Garrett Cole, and he's been a phenomenal pitcher throughout the postseason. He's coming on a regular rest. Outside of that, you also have the home field advantage of playing at Minute Maid Park. But I do see Washington. I'll go ahead and actually mark that here. Wow, why is that up here still? Okay. Wow, that needs to get going here. Sorry about that, folks. I should have noticed that. My bad. Because the wild card game is long since over, and I probably had that during the division series and didn't even realize it. Alright, so now you've got, whoopsie. Hopefully I didn't screw up that here. Okay, so now you've got Game 1. I don't have my best marker in front of me, unfortunately. So hopefully you can see that alright. You know what? I'm just going to switch colors. The heck with it. So yeah, Game 1. I do put in Houston's favor, okay? 1-0, okay? But here's the thing. I don't think you're going to see Verlander in Game 2 because he just pitched Game 5. Might not be enough rest for him, and he has shown in the Tampa Bay series that he cannot pitch very well in short rest, which leaves your Greinke on regular rest, on Peacock, or anybody else coming in there. Which means I'm going to definitely give Game 2 to Washington to bring it home. Back to Washington, game tied 1-1, okay? Those are my game picks. Then you shift it to Washington. Houston, and then you go Washington for games 3, 4, 3. Shoot. Sorry, my penmanship is terrible here. Okay, so, so now you got games 3, 4, 5 in Washington here. In this series, fundamentally, if I'm picking Washington to win this in 6 here, okay, I am going to pick Washington here to win this in 6. And I'll explain why. Okay? In 6 games. Okay? In 6 games. That means that by default, you got 1-1 after 2, and you know you're already calling game 6 in Houston for Washington. Go up 4 games to 2. That means that they are going to this is going to be, Washington is going to take 2 games to 1 and send it back home up 3 games to 2. As far as the individual breakdown of how games 3, 4, 5 work out, that's largely going to come down to who the starting pitchers are going to be. That's going to dictate a lot about this series. You know Verlander is going to be one of those, and that is going to be, the Verlander start is going to be the one game that Houston wins there. That also means that by saying that, you've gotten the Cole start, a Houston win, the Verlander start, a Houston win. Well, guess what? You haven't seen the last of those guys. This means that, fundamentally, whoever pitches start Game 6, whether it's Verlander, Cole, or anybody else, I'm picking Washington to win that game. Yes, you heard it here first. That also means that the 2 starts that, in here, whether you have Greinke coming in here somewhere, whether you have Cole coming back in here somewhere, I'm taking Washington to win 2 out of 3 at home in Washington, with the outlier being the Verlander start for Houston. So we'll see how well my predictions come through. I want to know what you all think about what I think. Please leave your comments in the section below. I have Washington winning the World Series in 6 games. Yes, home field advantage to Houston. So yes, they're going to have to win 2 games in Houston, in which, to be fair, they played 2. They went to LA. They split. Came home and dominated at home. They went into St. Louis and won 2. Came home and dominated at home. You're talking about a Washington team that can do road games against powerhouse teams. I do believe that, like LA, they can go into Houston, split the first 2 games. Heck, New York did it, you know? Tampa Bay went down 2 games to 1, I think, in Houston, and then they won 2 games in Tampa, so that's an outlier. But fundamentally, the first 2 games of the ALCS was split. First 2 games in the NLCS or in the NLDS was split. So I do see the first 2 games in Houston, I split between Washington and Houston, and then I see Washington going to town at home field, taking 2 out of 3, with the one game being the Verlander start for Houston. Then, of course, they go back home to Houston, and with whoever is available, you know, whether it's Scherzer, whether it's Corbin, whether it's Strasburg, I do believe that Washington can go in against your Verlander or your Cole or your Greinke or whomever, or your bullpen, whatever you want to do, and take Game 6 to bring home the first World Series championship to Washington. So let me know what you think about what I think in the comment section below. If you just happen to come across this video on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, and I appreciate all your love and support. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and enjoy the World Series starting on Tuesday. Have a great day.